Welcome to the webinar series of 21st Century Teachers with the theme Teaching in the New Normal. The goal of this series is to make teachers adapt and become relevant under the new normal. We would like to remind everyone on the following. A certificate of participation will only be given to those who will stay through the entire session and completely answer the evaluation assessment afterwards. Before we begin today's webinar, let us give respect to the singing of the Philippine National Anthem, followed by a short prayer.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Let us put ourselves in the holy presence of God. Father in heaven, always merciful and giver of life, we humbly ask that you bless each one of us, in the speakers, program committees, guests, and participants. Guide us to make better decisions as we incorporate what we will learn throughout this activity. Thank you for the infinite blessings and countless opportunities. Lord, today as we start our activity, may we always be grateful to learn new things. Shed the light of your wisdom and bless each one, especially our speakers, as they will share their knowledge to us. Through your mercy and grace, may peace and utmost understanding shine and dwell unto us. Almighty God, accompany each one and help us concentrate for us to gain more knowledge as we listen attentively. This we ask in your name. Amen.
And for the actual learning, let us all welcome Mr. Paulo Martin M. Aquino, licensed professional teachers, Master of Art in Teaching, major in Science, and a candidate for the doctoral major of Educational Management, a district research head Cardona Rizal, and a teacher at Mariano C. San Juan Elementary School, DepED Rizal, for his topic, the role of parent and teacher in education as tandem, this new normal.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Paulo Martin M. Aquino, a licensed professional teacher, Master of Arts in Teaching Science, and a licensed SSYB stands for Six Sigma Yellow Belt, and a PhD candidate major in Educational Management. So today, what we are going to do, what we are going to tackle, especially nowadays, we all know that we are in the hot seat because of the pandemic. So it means that our topic for today, which I'm going to share to you, which entitled The Role of Parents and Teachers, Tandem Education in the New Normal. So this is very timely, just like what I've said. It is very new normal. So when we say new normal, what does it mean? We're going to talk about that. Okay. So without further ado, I'm going to share to you my screen. I'm going to share to you my screen. Okay. Okay, just they're having some technical problem here. Okay, so I have my screen now. Just like what I've said earlier, my topic is all about the role of parent and teacher tandem in education in the new normal. So we have here the word tandem. So it means tandem. They are working hand in hand. Just like for example, the teacher and as well as the parent. So this is very timely dahil ngayon new normal tayo. Siyempre, yung face to face is very limited, and that's why there are a lot of learning modalities that DepEd used to present to us. Okay, so as part of our motivation, according to Manila Bulletin, actually I have here an article which entitled "Role of Parents in the New Normal in Education, Crucial According to DepEd." This is written by Merlina Hernando Malipot of Manila Bulletin. So I quoted some of the words that came from Undersecretary Annalyn Sibilia. The other aspect, and I think this is really big, is the role of parents. The role of the parents, especially on an online platform, is very relevant and huge. So based on what she had said, she is giving emphasis on the role of the parents, especially these pandemic times. So especially in an online platform. So it is because of the parents' assistance, for example, especially in elementary, siyempre mga bata pa nito, they really need the assistance of the parents. Siyempre, how to manipulate the laptop, the computer, and as well as some of the things that the teacher, as well as the something that is part of the curriculum that must be conveyed to the learners. Another one, of course, the important part is the follow-up, because after the children are exposed to online learning or once they have experienced the online platform learning, the next aspect is to follow up, especially how the learner has performed after the online interaction. So meron ditong word tayo, bibigyan nating emphasis, yung the word follow-up. So we know that follow-up is being done. Ito yung once the learner nakauwi niya sa bahay, nagkakaroon tayo ng follow-up. So that is the big role of the parent. Diba? Although hindi pa tayo new normal, even before, diba, even before wala pa tayong pandemic, meron dapat always follow-up because that is a very great reason para matuto ang bata. Okay po? Another one. So now, let us find out what new normal means. A new normal is a state to which an economy, society, etc. settles following a crisis when this differs from the situation that prevailed prior to the start of the crisis. The term has been used following the financial crisis of 2007 and 2008, the aftermath of the 2008 and 2012 global recession, and the COVID-19 pandemic. So when we say daw po new normal, it comes or it is always a chain. It is chained to economy and related to the society. And we know that the society as well as economy, they are always interchangeable. Diba? They are always changed. And when we say society, these are, for example, the changes in the society, we as humans or the community, we need to follow the demand of the society in order for us to be not uncivilized. So that is the power of the society. So now, based on this one, dito sa new normal dito, the new normal daw is started in the financial crisis in 2007 to 2008. And after that, 2008, 2012, the global recession. We all know about the global recession in which the GDP of some famous countries or yung wealth countries ay bumabagsak. Dito nagsimula or started the word new normal. Now, let us find out what parent engagement stands for or means. Okay, naririnig natin to. Siyempre, ang dali-dali natin naririnig engagement. Even for example, iba pagka nagkakaroon kayo ng, for example, a partner, tapos nag-engage kayo. So parang ganun din siya, parent engagement. But this time, let us find out what parent engagement means. Parent engagement happens when the teachers involve parents in school meetings or events, and parents volunteer their support at home and at school. In this way, they make a commitment. Parents commit to prioritizing their child's educational goals, and teachers commit to listening and providing a space for collaboration with parents. Okay, so we have here the word collaboration. So it means that the parent must be collaborative to the teacher. Okay, in which way they will serve as parent volunteer that support it at home and at school. So we know naman that education as well as learning, hindi mo lang siya makukuha sa school. Di ba tama ako? Because one of the basic foundation of education that we have ay yung ating mismong tahanan. Di ba? Aside from school. Another point here, parents commit to prioritizing their child's educational goals. So it means if the parent choose to engage themselves or to volunteer themselves, it means that they are committing themselves and prioritizing their child's educational goals. Okay, so that is parent engagement. Another one, we have here the word involvement. Kasi sometimes we used to hear the word engagement and involvement having one particular meaning. But nung nagbasa ako, while I am surfing the internet, I found out that there is a big difference when it comes to involvement and the word engagement. So here is the meaning of parent involvement. Parent involvement is when parents participate in school events or activities, and teachers provide learning, resources, or information about their students' grades. Unlike in parent engagement, teachers hold the priority responsibility to set educational goals. They relate to parents not as partner, but an advisor who guides them through academic support for their child. Okay, so according to this one, unlike in parent engagement, teachers hold the primary responsibility. Okay, so kung kanina meron tayong word na parents engagement, ito yung parang vice versa nun. According to this, parent involvement daw is the teacher hold the primary responsibility to set educational goals. So by means of that, si teacher mismo, nagre-report siya doon sa parent. For example, your child need to study more on spelling, more on computation. Parang nagre-reporting tayo dito pagka when we say parent involvement kasi they relate to parents not as partner but an advisor. Unlike dun sa kanina, parang style advisor yung dating. Dito naman sa parent, dito sa parent involvement, who guides them through academic support. Okay? More on academic support ng kanilang mga learners o kanilang mga anak. Now, I have here some history of pandemics that can be related to education. I have here in 1918, influenza pandemic in US and Australian cities. In 1957, school closure in France during the 1957 pandemic. 2003, severe acute respiratory syndrome in Hong Kong or SARS. And the present times, we have the COVID-19 pandemic. You know what? There are similarities based on some of these pandemic that I have here. Especially, for example, here I found out that during in 1918, the influenza pandemic in US and Australian cities, they used to close the schools. And they had given short activities that can be answered in home doon sa mga bata. Just like here in school closure in France during 1957 pandemic, the same then. As well as the severe acute respiratory syndrome in Hong Kong, same then. Because they believe that if there is a closure in school, siyempre especially pagka hindi naman tayo well supported ng ating medical aspects ng ating government, siyempre we all know that, siyempre as an answer, the very great thing to do is to have closures in school. Okay? But we are not entirely or we are not fully closing the school. That's why we are presenting, or the DepED is presenting learning modalities. Diba? We all know that. And learning modalities can be found in the school LCP that we have. So that during the present time in COVID-19, unti-unti na rin nating sinusunod kung what happened during these pandemics na meron tayo before. Okay, baka yung iba sa inyo ay wala pa yung mga ganyang panahon. So I just have here para magkaroon tayo ng konting look back to our history of pandemic and relate it to the situations right now. Okay, so I have here Industrial Revolution. Okay. So what is the role of Industrial Revolution ba? Pagka about sa education, what is the role of Industrial Revolutions? Okay, let us find out what is the role of Industrial Revolution to education. Okay, we have here the first, second, third, and fourth Industrial Revolution. So look at that. So Industrial Revolution 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, and 4.0. In which, if I am going to summarize all of this one by one, Industrial Revolution 1.0, this is more on steam engine. Industrial Revolution 2.0, more on mass productivity and electricity. 3.0, the third revolution, electronic and IT system automation. And now the fourth revolution, cyber physical system, or the 21st century that we have now. Did you know that education progressed in Industry 1.0? Based on the timeline that I have here, in 1833 up to 1902, actually this is under the 1.0 Industrial Revolution. In 1833, the government passed the Factory Act, making 2 hours of education a day compulsory for children working in factories. Kasi during that time, there is a booming of factories in which the power of steam engine has been used, and the factories of textile. What is textile ba? These are clothes, di ba? Ginagamit to nung unang panahon. They cover themselves more on clothes as well as their headdresses nung panahon na yan. That's why ang ginagawa nila, the education had been neglected. And most of the children during that time used to work and they are underpaid. But based on that, napansin ng government that education is indeed necessary. That's why they passed the Government Factory Act, making only 2 hours of education a day. And in 1844, the Ragged School Union was set up to give schooling to very poor children. Okay. So, nagkaroon pa rin ng more on focus about education. When we say Ragged School, ito yung school na kung saan they are enrolling or they are accepting poor children. Kasi before, education is only for rich and wealthy. That's why they created or they formulated a Ragged School Union. Another one, 1868, the Public Schools Act 1868 reformed Britain public school such as Eton and Harrow. Okay, nagkaroon pa rin ng support. Patuloy na yung support sa education dito. Kasi siyempre, even before they know that education is very important. Especially makapagpapataas ito ng GDP ng isang bansa. In 1880, the Education Act made school attendance compulsory for children up to the age of 10. Nagkaroon na ng compulsory na schooling sa mga bata. Okay? Kasi yung mga bata, they are underpaid, tapos sometimes they only get 20% of the whole salary or the minimum salary. So look at that, only 20%. In 1902, the Education Act established a system of secondary schools. Nagkaroon naman na dito sa 1902 ng system about secondary school. Unlike in 1880s, they are compulsory lang for children up to age of 10. So actually, this is the start of booming of the education. Even in the history of educations, merong education. But mostly education po is for the wealthy and rich people lamang. So dito sa education, dito sa Industry 1.0 talaga nag-start ang education. Then after that, sinundan pa ito nung EPA, yung tinatawag natin na Education for All Act, up to 2015. Now let us explain further about the first industrial revolution and its connection to education. Began in Britain in the late 1700s, but not fully felt until the year 1830s or 1840s. Okay, so the first industrial revolution has been started in Britain in 1700s, but not fully felt in, diba? It just felt in the year 1830s and 1840s. Introduced mechanized spinning, steam power, and iron production in the early 19th century. Okay. So the invention of spinning, steam power, and iron production here is indeed important because, for example, they use the steam power as pumping machines in order to put out the water inside the caves that they need to use as mines o ginagamit ito sa minahan. Introduce a small number of innovations such as in the production of textile, steam power, iron making, and invention of machine tools. Okay, so in this particular era or 1.0, first industrial revolutions, always remember that the great inventions there are the steam power, iron making, and inventions of machine tools that needs human intervention or human power in order to work. And according to Eric John Ernest Hobsbawm, June 9 to 1917 to October 1, 2012, actually, he is one of the greatest historians during this time. He had written a lot of informations that can support some of these informations that we have now during the first industrial revolution. Now, let us go on to the second industrial revolution. Let us find out what are the differences of second industrial revolution to first industrial revolution. So in this one, we have the spread of transportation. Okay, so second industrial revolution, there's a spread of transportation. So when we say if there is a spread of transportation, we can easily reach schools, even the schools are far away. Diba? So that is one good thing about second industrial revolution. Many of the changes that occurred during this period had to do with new products simply replacing old ones. Okay. So this one, nagkaroon sila ng mas cheaper. Unlike before, they use steel, but during the second industrial revolution, they introduced iron. And those irons ay ginagamit nila as railroad. Kaya nagkaroon ng spread of transportation. Innovation, steel production, petroleum, and electricity. Okay. This is actually the start of the power of electricity in the second industrial revolution. And we all know naman that electricity is indeed important para sa atin. And this is also the inventions of telephone of Graham Bell. We all know that telephone has been invented by Graham Bell or Alexander Graham Bell. That is most famous for his invention. So that is, those are the differences of first and second industrial revolution. Always remember that the first industrial revolution is more on the introduction of things, or more on the introduction of education. It gives emphasis on education. Alexander Graham Bell and the telephone, Edinburgh, Scotland, in March 1947, he heard the sound of a black spring along 60 feet of wire in a Boston electric shop. Hearing the sound, Bell believed that he could solve the problem of sending a human voice over a wire. He figured out how to transmit a simple current first and receiving a patent for that invention on March 7, 1876. Did you know that Alexander Graham Bell, he actually not the first inventor of telephone? There are also great people that invented telephone, but he used to race to other inventors in order to gain the patent. Kaya nagkaroon ng patent yung kanyang telephone. That's why uh, he is considered as the inventor of telephone, si Alexander Graham Bell. Another great inventor during the Second Industrial Revolution is Thomas Edison. The electric light has caused me the greatest amount of study and has required the most elaborate experiments. And according to him, siya pala yung nagsabi nung greatest quote na meron tayo naririnig natin, na genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. So this is based on his experience. And did you know that Thomas Edison then, he is not alone, or he is not the inventor of light alone. There are also inventors of light, kaya lang his invention of light is more similar to the light that we are using now. Unlike the other inventors during that time, yung light nila ay cannot take longer. But Thomas Edison, yung light niya is more similar the light that we use to have now. And Thomas Edison is also a businessman. He is the owner of GE, or the General Electric, na kung saan yung mga greatest appliances na meron tayo until now. So even though wala na siya, meron pa rin siyang natitirang well-established na rin siya, even his family, because of that business that he had. Okay. So I have here the word MOOC. Okay, what MOOC stands for? Okay, can I see some of your answers about MOOC? What MOOC stands for? Can I see it in the comment section here in YouTube? May bonus po ang makasagot ng MOOC. According to that, MOOC is learning new, it changes people, it's all about experience, it's all about hope, social courses, complete. What MOOC stands for? Actually, now we are entering to the third industrial revolution. We are entering in the third industrial revolution. That MOOC is in particular is important during this particular era in the third industrial revolution. Okay, so MOOC stands for Massive Open Online Course. Okay, actually in particular, these are courses that can be done. You can enroll yourselves. Okay, so we have here the answer of Sir Gilbert, and we have here the answer of Ma'am Silus Siren, Ma'am Norsala Abdullah. Good evening po sa inyo. Massive Open Online Course. So meron po kayong virtual chocolate mamaya. Another answers that we have here is si Ma'am Yamina Upon. Okay, good evening po sa inyong lahat. Okay, so we have some of the answers. So, Ma'am Yamina Upon, Massive Open Online Course. Good evening po, ma'am. Okay, so let us go on now. So, MOOC, correct po yung mga sagot natin. Meron po kayong virtual chocolate papadala po sa inyo. So, when we say MOOC, it is related to Third Industrial Revolution. And MOOC is actually the start of distance learning. Now, let us find out more about the Third Industrial Revolution in education. Generally attributed to computerization and web-based interconnectivity developed in the 1980s and 1990s. So generally, it is more on computer or computerization and web-based. This is actually the start of the use of computer. This is the big difference between the first and the second industrial revolution. Because in the second revolution, there is the power of electricity. But in the third industrial revolution, this is the introduction of computer and web-based interconnectivity. It is also the expansion of access to higher education rose to even greater. Okay, so when we say access to higher education or the expansion of that, a lot of college students in other country, and as well as those who are having their graduate school, they used to enroll themselves in MOOC. There are some universities then that they offer open university. I know some of that, like UP, they offer open university. The Miriam College, they also open university. They are not requiring the presence of their students. Okay, but the output, I guess it's much harder to achieve the output, siguro. This is also the introduction of 3D printing used in robotics in the third industrial revolution. Okay, di ba meron tayong nakikita more on YouTube when we used to surf the internet and look about 3D printing. 3D printing, actually ito yung expensive pa siya kasi this one in the 3D printing business, actually very booming siya during this time, during this era. You can print a lot of objects just like toys, saka yung mga objects sa bahay na pwede mo magamit that is made of plastic. The resourceful industrial revolution. Dito rin po sa third industrial revolution is actually the introduction of the resourceful industrial revolution. Why? Because in the first industrial revolution, because there are a lot of factories that actually in the first industrial revolution, that is the start of air pollution and water pollution. Because some of the factories, they used to reside near the water area or some of the bodies of water, simply to dispose their materials. And of course, they are using steam engine para madali sila maka-cook up o madali silang makakuha ng water. And siyempre, because of that is a factory, kinakailangan ng more of that steam power, may usok, di ba? And because of that, air pollution has been started. So in the third industrial revolution, it is contradicting the first industrial revolution. Because this is actually the introduction of the industrial revolution being resourceful. Diba? Nagiging resourceful in the third industrial revolution. Nagkakaroon tayo ng mga e-bikes, e-jeepney, na kung saan it doesn't have the power of fuel in order to move or to work. Diba? More on electric power lang. And because of that, more on electric power, it doesn't use harmful agents or materials that can cause damage in our environment. This is more on environment or environmental friendly materials in the third industrial revolution. And based on that also, in the third industrial revolution, less entry costs in generating and disseminating information, especially in education. Okay, so it is indeed true, diba? Especially now, we have the power of social media, we have the power of phones, cellular phones, diba? Madali nating ma-deliver what we know to our learners and to our parents. Actually, very important ka itong some of the inventions in the third industrial revolutions. Kasi during these pandemic times, we can able to reach the parents and as well as our learners. Di ba po? So I have here some offers to you. Some offers about the MOOC that can be you can enroll yourselves. Dito free lang po siya. Okay, you can just complete some of the courses here. This is international. Okay, so you can get international certificate MOOC. So we have here the linda.com is now LinkedIn or learning. So there are over 113 pre-courses dito sa linda.com. You can enroll yourselves dito para kahit paano, even though we are at home, na-move ang class natin, although ang dami pa rin natin ginagawa related to our work as teacher, siguro try din natin mag-enroll dito, especially of some of the courses that could offer computer skills. Another offer that I have here is this one, dalinda.com. It also has a lot of pre-courses. Another one is the Udemy. It has 100,000 online courses. Okay, more of these courses naman, they do not require you a lot of outputs, but they are requiring you outputs that can be sent to them, na kung saan ay more on types in which na more on the topic presented lamang, hindi yung more on either objective or subjective. And the other one, we have here the Allison or the Allison course. It is a pre-online course from the world's leading expert. So meron din po siya na mga some of the courses na kung saan pag natapos nyo, you will receive a certificate for free. And it is international course. And siyempre, the very famous Google Digital Garage. Okay, there are also 100,000 courses dito that they are offering. Maaaring more on management skills, more on supervisorial skills, more on computer skills, and education, siyempre, hindi mawawala yan. Another one is we have here the OHSC. It provides you an opportunity to complete online accredited courses. Okay, they are some of the courses, they are online. Siyempre, ang halaga nga nitong itong third industrial revolution at itong pandemic, even though we used to stay at home, natututo tayo. So, dapat lang gamitin natin yung time natin wisely. Siyempre, we have here the open learning. Meron din siyang different courses. Actually, some of these courses that I am showing to you, actually, nakapag-enroll na ako some of these, especially in this open learning and Google. And siyempre, locally, we have here the Rex Bookstore. They are offering MOOC. Make sure lang po na makomplete nyo yung output na kanilang hinahanap and to be sent in a particular timeline or particular deadlines that they have. Siyempre, we have here the Bibal. Sikat na sikat po si Bibal because of some of the webinars that they are giving to the teachers, which are very important or very popular now. Natututo kasi si teacher because of that Itong si Bibal, ang dami niyang tituro. Kasi although we are teachers naman, there are a lot of things that we don't actually know. That's why we need to study pa din. Siyempre, meron tayong TESDA. So in TESDA courses naman, for example, you want to get NC2 or you want to be a TM, Siyempre, you will get some of the information in TESDA and read the module and answer some of those questions. Then after that, you will report and you will you will get a announcement na kung saan you will show hands-on kung ano yung kinuha mo. For example, ang kinuha mo sa TESDA is more on cookery. Siyempre, magluluto ka. You can have the demo doon sa mismong time schedule na bibigay ng TESDA. Then after that, pag nakapasa ka, they will be giving you a TESDA certificate, NC2, NC3, and whatsoever. So those are some of the contributions in the third industrial revolutions. In the third industrial revolution also, there is a huge, in particular, huge development in technology. So what is technology? Technology, it is a branch of knowledge that deals with the creation and use of technical means and their interrelation with life, society, and the environment, drawing upon subject as industrial arts, engineering, applied science, and pure science. So it means that technology, it is not just being technology. It is related with life, society, and the environment. Diba? So that's why there is an integration of technology in human life. Diba? For example, when you are having an X-ray, when you are having a medical problem or issues, technology is being used. CT scan, diba? Technology is being used. Even in education, siyempre, a big part of technology is being used. Kasi mas dumadali ang pagtuturo ng isang teacher and the attention span of their learners will be wide enough in order to learn. Diba? Kasi we know that naman the learners, especially the children, they have short span of attention. That's why because of technology, it helps us to widen the attention span of the learners. So technology is indeed important then. Very important. It is also applied in industrial art, engineering, applied science, and pure science. Okay? So we have the word applied and the word pure science. So even in some of the biologies that we have, siyempre pagka tayo kumukuha ng specimens, we use technology in order to see a lot of single cells, di ba? Even in pure science, ginagamit din natin siya. Theory application. So now as a teacher, we need to understand and we need to know how to apply technology in education. So I have here the TPAC framework, which is effective technology integration for teaching specific content or subject matter, requires understanding and negotiating the relationships between these three components. Okay, technology, pedagogy, and the content. So we are combining these three components, the technology, the pedagogy, as well as the content. So when we say technology, just like what I have said, technology is the power that we use in order for us to deliver our lesson. And then pedagogy, it is more on approaches and techniques. It is nasa atin na to eh. Even though, for example, we have technology, but we don't know how to have the techniques in teaching. And the word content. When we say content, this is more on the subject matter. This is more on the competencies that you are talking about. Kasi if you are lacking, nagtuturo ka ng technology, if you are lacking of one of these, although ang galing mo gumamit, you are technologically knowledgeable, and then pedagogy, ang galing mo rin, but the content of your lesson, hindi mo ma-attain the objective. Diba? That is very important kasi. Dapat we need to attain the objective because the objective must be similar to the generalizations that we have. Kasi you cannot put objectives na hindi mo papalabasin sa generalizations. So they must be connected to one another. The TPAC framework, it highlights complete relationships that exist between content, pedagogy, and technology knowledge areas, and may be useful organizational structure for defining what is the teacher need to know to integrate technology effectively. Okay, so I have here the paradigm or the model of the TPAC model. So according to this one, in our first one, we have the technological knowledge. T stands for technology, P stands for pedagogy, C stands for content, and K stands for knowledge. Okay, so when we say technological knowledge, this is composed of laptops, PC, MacBook, iPads, and other gadgets that we have. It is also composed of some of the social networks such as Google, in the power of internet, and the tools like PowerPoint and PDF, as well as ebook apps. When we say pedagogical knowledge, it is more on instruction on classes, how to use laptops. You are instructing them. Instruct teachers regarding use of recent technologies. Okay, pedagogical knowledge, you are instructing also the teachers to use recent technologies. Siyempre, we all know naman that society, hindi naman tayo nagiging stagnant. Lalong nagpo-progress ang technology. Content knowledge naman, content related to topic, just like what I have said, it is must be related to topic, or in particular, dapat siya focus on the content na subject matter. So those are the meaning of the TPAC model. Okay, T stands for technological or technology, P stands for pedagogical, and C stands for content, and C for knowledge. Now, we have here the word email. We are all familiar na kung saan we have the Internet of Things. Okay, I need your work. Please send me in my email. Naririnig natin yan. Teachers and students worldwide are beginning to use this ability to talk each other. Emailing back and forth with another classroom also provide excellent opportunity for students to practice writing skills for a real life purposes. Okay. So when you say email, natututo yung bata. For example, you need to answer an essay and please send it to email. Kaya lang the very problem that I am seeing here, siyempre nagkakaroon din sila ng possibility na kung saan they need to copy paste lang their answers, 'di ba? That is so sad when it comes to email. Pero there are some in particular apps na ginagamit. They have the Turnitin na ginagamit sa research to eh. Pero baka pwede rin itong gamitin. Because of the Turnitin, makikita kung ilang percent yung na-plagiarize mo. So, iba talaga ang technology. Hindi ka makakapanlaya. So, we have here the WW or the World Wide Web. Alam natin to. It is an open source information space where documents and other web resources are identified by URLs, interlinked by hypertext links, and can be assisted via internet. www cannot be used without internet. Although may gadgets or computer ka, hindi mo naman magagamit ang internet. The use of World Wide Web as an instructional tool is gaining momentum. Very important. For example, when we are doing our report, just like itong na-present ko sa inyo, some of this, I got this sa internet. Siyempre, when you are getting informations in the internet, make sure that it is reliable and must be you must have credit. Kailangan magkaroon ka ng credit. For example, photo credits sa mga ginamit mo. Okay. So, siyempre, tayo sa third industrial revolution, the automation readiness. Based on this one, when we say automation, this is more on the ICT skills. According to this one, the top-ranking countries or high-income countries dominate each of the index categories are South Korea, Germany, and Singapore. Okay, so even here, at the top 25, ay hindi kasama ang Philippines. Diba? So based on that, so we found out, yung number one pa is Asian country, which is South Korea. And we all know that South Korea, when it comes to technology, diba? Pero ang alam natin, Japan must be the first. Pero according to the Automation Readiness Index, South Korea comes first. So now, ano yung mga certain actions na ginagawa ng ating pamahalaan o yung ating Philippine government as well as okay. So that's why we have here the Act of 2013, an act enhancing the Philippine basic education system by strengthening its curriculum and increasing the number of years for basic education, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. So this is more on K to 12, di ba? Nag-add tayo ng 2 years. So dito rin sa Republic Act number 10533 is actually the integration of ICT and the integration of DRRM and another aspects. Dito siya nag-umpisa sa Republic Act as an answer to be globally competitive in the Republic Act number 10533. It gives every student an opportunity to receive quality education that is globally competitive based on pedagogically sound curriculum that is at par with international standards. So we all know naman that the international standards we will just having a technical difficulty. So sorry for that. After a while, magkakaroon po, babalik naman po siya agad. So while we are waiting, let us review muna about the first, second, third, and fourth industrial revolution in education. So it means that when it comes to the first industrial revolution, this is actually the start of the giving emphasis to education, because during this time, a lot of families, they used to reside uh, in the places near the factories. And then after that, then after that, na kung saan nagkakaroon ng child labor. Kasi child labor, yung mga bata instead of going to school, ang nangyayari sa kanila, uh, they used to work. And just 20% of the minimum salary lang yung nakukuha nila. So in the second industrial revolution naman, this is actually the introduction of some of the inventions na kung saan ay ginagamit natin today. Diba? More, just like for example, the telephone, and more especially the light that we have now. So meron tayong the introduction Okay, so according to Sir Rommel Makatsyag, this is the new normal and it happens unexpectedly and we will experience the same as we go online with our teaching. Yes po, Tama-tama po kayo dyan. Right now, naka-experience tayo ng technical difficulties po, especially in online. So now, I'm going to share my screen to you and continue this one. So let us continue. The Republic Act now, Act number 10533, or the Enhanced Basic Education. Sorry for the delay that we have because of the technical difficulties. But now I'm back. So based on that, Enhanced Basic Education Program, the Enhanced Basic Education Program encompasses at least 1 year of kindergarten education, 6 years of elementary education, and 6 years in secondary education. In that sequence, secondary education includes 4 years of junior high school and 2 years of senior high school. Okay. So the very reason why we are having the K-12 system, siguro yung in order to compete to other countries, kasi one of the thing na kung saan masasabi mo ang isang country na wealthy or rich enough is technology, di ba? And in order for the technology to be used, kailangan maging familiar the people or the community how to use the technology. So that's why we are integrating technology in every lessons that we have. So we are done with first, second, third industrial revolution. So actually the third and fourth industrial revolution, they are quite the same. But right now, during the 21st century, we are in the fourth industrial revolution. And during pandemic times. So the first one, automation, simplification, and scheduling are being driven down to average person. Okay. For example, automation, the ATM or the automated teller machine. Diba? Mas madali tayong nakakakuha ng money based on doon sa ating ATM machine. And simplification and scheduling are being driven down to average persons. Diba? Kahit ang taong poor or poorest of the poor ngayon, meron na silang cellphone. So we can deliver the message that we have. Ito nga one good thing that we have now. Although we are in pandemic times, we can able to reach the parents of our learners and even the learners. Another one, a massive shift in medical pharmacy, space exploration, and science will continue. Diba nung a month ago, nagkaroon ng paglipad ng isang spaceship to Mars. Diba? And some of us pa nga, we used to register in order to put our names in Mars sa pag-alis noong spaceship na yun. Actually, pati ako nag-join doon. May ticket ako doon. And another one, MOOC, flipped classroom, online learning, virtual learning. Okay, so siyempre, nandiyan pa rin si MOOC and flipped classroom. What is flipped classroom ba? Actually, the flipped classroom po, siya yung kabaliktaran. For example, we have here the pyramid or the Bloom's taxonomy of learning, na kung saan, di ba, yung one of the highest doon sa Bloom's taxonomy of learning, nandoon before ay evaluation. Pero na-develop, instead of evaluation yung nasa unahan, na-develop siya, pinalitan siya ng creating. Because creating is much higher type of thinking skill. It is more critical than evaluation. Because creating is actually the application of what you learn. So ito yon yung sa flipped classroom. When it comes naman doon, ipasok natin si flipped classroom. Ang flipped classroom naman, more on online learning, but the hands-on is more on face-to-face. For example, we talk about this one. I'm going to give some things or instructions and do it. Then after that, we are going to see each other this coming Friday, for example, and then show me how you do it, for example. That is the flipped classroom. Baliktad po si flipped classroom. Unlike yung ginagawa natin before na nagkikita-kita muna tayo sa classroom and then after that, gumagawa sila sa bahay. So that is the difference of that. And number 4, access to water, food, and alternative energy represents are for large paradigm shifts. We will see a decreasing reliance on fossil fuels and ability to transform non-potable water, and idea of computer-generated food could become reality. Ito, nagkakatotoo na to eh. Di ba nung pag tayo nagkakaroon ng field trips, di ba punta tayo sa Gardenia, makikita natin yung factory sa Gardenia is being manipulated by computer. Di ba? And a lot of factories. Although, it doesn't mean naman na we have the power computer kasi yung iba natatakot eh. Kasi when we say kasi computer, kasunod sa lagi niyan is robot, di ba? At natatakot yung iba, they felt hard to think about it kasi nga baka palitan yung human power nitong mga robot. But that is not exactly na mangyayari because robots cannot work without human. And when it comes naman to water, food, and alternative energy, nagkakaroon tayo, siyempre yung water natin, nagkakaroon tayo ng more clean water. Sa ibang bansa, nagkakaroon na yan using the power of technology. Diba? Yung kung saan na-detect nila kung merong E. coli bacteria doon sa tubig na yon, bago nila i-deliver o bago nila i-manufacture yung mga tubig na yon. And as well as also the food. Diba? Nagkakaroon nga tayo ng mga vending machine na kung saan yung mga food ay madali natin magkakaroon tayo ng access. More on instant nga when it comes to fourth industrial revolution. Instant of things and internet of things. Now, we are going to talk about the advantages. And after that, of course, the disadvantages. The pandemic is forcing all of us to appreciate how much we rely on 21st century technologies, artificial intelligence, and the Internet of Things. Social media, digital learning platforms. Okay, so, siyempre, because of the pandemic, ano nangyari because of the pandemic? Some countries, they actually started their class school year, pero more on online learning. Kasi ay yung applicable sa kanila. Kasi siyempre because of their household na kung saan yung mga parents nila, they are being supported by their parents and as well as meron silang support sa kanilang internet. The unprecedented context is simultaneously driving us to become far more reliant on breakthrough digital, biological, and physical technologies, and far more inventive about how we can use these emerging technologies to create value in new ways. Okay. So we are more reliant when it comes to technology. Diba? Ayun nga yung nangyayari. For example, your teacher asks you to do an essay. Ang gagawin mo, naging reliant ka na lang sa technology, magka-copy-paste ka na lang. Diba? So, ayun yung isa siguro sa disadvantages. Pero when it comes to advantages, siyempre, pag pinagawa ka ng essay, magsisearch ka sa internet, pero ipaparaphrase mo yan based on your own understanding para hindi ka maging makasuhan. Another one, informal network or hobbies and manufacturing firms are using 3D printers to make tens of thousands of face shields. Okay, the advantage daw po dito, they are using 3D printers sa paggawa ng thousands of face shields. Diba? Very applicable to during these times. And another one, even the greatest company, just like Apple and Google, they are partnered in tracing application embedded in the operating smartphones na kung saan nagpapasagot sila using the statistics of that or the data in order to find out kung sino yung mga infected. Nagkakaroon sila nun. The disadvantages of the fourth industrial revolution, privacy for citizens is being invaded. Okay, i-invade siya. Actually, spam, phishing, and identity theft scams of all types continue to evolve and transform. Okay, so kaya po tayo, for example, last time, when I look at my social media, I have seen there a particular post na sinasabi na GSIS in order to detect kung ikaw ba ay may makiklaim. Buti na lang hindi ko siya na enter in, na i-cancel ko siya kasi may lumabas din news in particular na yun daw ay phishing scam na kung saan they are requiring you to show your email address, your password. So hindi ko naman ginawa. People weigh and compare employment options, then choices and trade-offs will surely impact social, economic, and political initiatives. Ito nga yun natatakot minsan yung mga especially the youth nowadays. Kasi sinasabi, more on fourth industrial revolution daw, patok na patok daw ang STEM courses dito. Siyempre nga, Internet of Things, technology, and STEM of courses is indeed related to technology and computers. But not necessarily, di ba? Hindi naman talaga. Pero more of works offered ay STEM talaga. That is the reality. Digital reliance on a digital world that abandon old turnkey technologies create unique disadvantages. Okay, so digital reliance daw po, pagka ikaw naging masyado kang digital reliance, siyempre, yung health mo, magkakaroon ka ng health issues. Ayaw mo nang, you are not going outside physically instead of jogging outside. Kasi even walking, di ba, even walking, that is a form of exercise. Di ba? So because of that, digital reliance ka na, I don't want to go out na lang. I'm going to order online na lang, hindi na ako pupunta sa palengke, tapos hindi ka na maaarawan. We all know naman na ang araw is very important to us. Sometimes, nakakapanghina siya pag hindi tayo naarawan. So, digital reliance ka na yan. So, more on Internet of Things. Pindot-pindot ka lang, yung order ko, darating na. Diba? Ganun siya. Pero without even knowing na hindi pala maganda to sa health mo. Now I have here the latest results about the learning modality. This is based on DepEd Central. So based on that, some of the parents now, the largest percentage is 8.8 million. They chose modular learning for their children. The second one that we have here is the blended learning. When I say blended learning, we are blending the modular and another learning modality that we have here. Another one, 3.8, the online learning. The educational TV is 1.4 million and radio-based instruction or RBI is 900K and other modalities which is composed of 500,000. Okay, so by means of that, we can easily know that most of the parents now, they had chosen modular learning 8.8. Okay, so we all know naman siguro kung bakit. Kasi modular learning, they do not require them to have gadgets. They do not require them to have internet. And although, for example, they already have gadgets, for example, cell phones or smartphones cannot be used entirely in the entire class. For example naman, they have laptop, they have internet, pero the internet is unstable. So that is a great problem na kung saan ay makikita ng DepEd. So the best fit for learning based on the majority that we have here is the modular learning, which is composed of 8.8 million. So modular learning, this is related to MISOSA or the modified in-school of school approach. Based on this, MISOSA utilized the self-instruction material or the SIMS that learners can work independently, which is applicable in the current situation. Learners will be rated based on their ratings, just like the utilization of the portfolios in MISOSA. Actually, yung the use or the modular learning as modality is it has been introduced in MISOSA. And what is MISOSA? So according to this one, ito daw MISOSA is an answer doon sa congested number of learners. Okay? And then ito rin yung start na kung saan they use the self-instructional materials or self-instructional modules, yung SIMS na tinatawag. And they found out, according to the International Technology Management Corporation or INTEM, for the United Nations Children's or PAN or UNICEF, based on their study entitled UNICEF 2012, the evaluation on alternatives delivery modes or ADMs, MESOSA and impact, the piloting of ADMs as supported by UNICEF made notable contributions to improving educational outcomes, especially in terms of raising the mastery level and achievement test scores of children. Okay, so there is a research, di ba? So we cannot say naman kasi na this one is effective without having a basis or without having a legal basis. So I have shown you a legal basis na kung saan si modular learning pala is effective din. And that is based on UNICEF on their study in the year 2012. Now, siyempre, we are talking about the role of parents and as well as the role of teachers. So the role of parents, according to this one, parents are the child's first role model. Siyempre, sinabi ko kanina, because home is our first educational institution. Aside from school, aside from church, and aside from the community that we have. Children behave, react, and imitate same as their parents. Tama naman, di ba? Kung ano yung nakikita ng bata sa parent niya, ginagaya niya. Di ba, merong commercial before, I still remember that one good commercial na kung saan yung parent niya, ewan ko kung natatandaan niyo to nakapulot ng wallet, then sumakay sila sa taxi, tas kinuha ng parent niya, pero hindi binalik. Tas nagkaroon ng quote to na sa mata ng bata, ang mali ay nagiging tama. If you still remember that, siguro natatandaan niyo yung commercial na yon. Parents play important role in encouraging and motivating their kids to learn. Good parental support helps child to be positive, healthy, and good lifelong learners. Children acquire skills at a very early stage of their life if the parents are responsive and understanding. Okay, siyempre as a parents, kailangan habaan mo yung PC mo. Especially during these times, di ba? Sinasabi natin, nagreklamo some of the parents, siyempre, bakit kailangan pa ng teachers during this time? Kami naman ang magtuturo. Di ba sinasabi nila yon? No, not actually that. Wala namang may gusto na magkaroon ng ganitong pangyayari during this pandemic times, di ba? So, I think we should not put the blame to one another or to each parties. Hindi natin kailangan gawin yun. So, the role of parents and the role of teachers, they must be working hand in hand, especially during these pandemic times. Now, what is the role of teachers? Major challenges for teachers are to nurture children's learning and give him various experience to face this challenging world. She molds the child to be a responsible and independent learning. Teacher is the first person from whom child learns his social skills in school. Teachers make him comfortable and guide him the early concept and developmental skills of life. Open-minded, well-balanced, and a planned teacher has a great power to bring a positive change in the child's development. Okay. So, siyempre teacher ka. You have the biggest role here as a teacher. Pero, di ba? During the presence of your learners, nasa iyo yung biggest role. Pero during the presence na kung saan nandun yung bata sa parents niya, the biggest role ay nandoon sa parents. So, as a teacher, siyempre, we should not forget the power of feelings. Kailangan may heart tayo sa estudyante natin. And we need to widen up our emotions para sa kanila as well as understandings, di ba? Kasi sometimes makikita natin si bata at tigas-tigas ng ulo niya, di ba? So tayo as a teacher, we need to go even the longest line na meron para in order to reach them and then open up soon and then found out what are the problems that make hindrance kung bakit hindi siya natututo sa inyong klase. So that is the role of the teacher. Role of parent and teacher, pinagsama ko. Trust and mutual understanding between parent and teacher is a real secret of child's happy learning. Sabi dyan, real secret of child's happy learning. So there is a happy learning kasi dapat learning is fun. Learning is not boring. Di ba? That's why we have, I have shown you a lot of things na kung saan technology is one good thing or the integration of technology in order for the child or the learner to be not found the lesson not interesting. It should be always interesting para sa mga bata. Siyempre, bilang parent ka ngayon, ang role mo, kailangan mo rin ng different approaches. And now, that's why we have the power of technology. We have the social media, we have the power of phones and the gadgets. Di ba? Ang teacher naman, lagi naman niyang open. Pwede, for example, you have questions during about the lesson of your children, tanong niyo sa kanila, sasagot si teacher. Dahil the role of the teacher is to communicate din. Remarkable positive change is seen in a child if the parents and teacher understand and work hand in hand. So meron tayong salita. I put emphasis on the word work hand in hand. Okay, so when we say work hand in hand, kailangan tulong tayo dito. Not only the teacher, not only the parent. Hindi lang during this time, even before, kaya nga meron tayong word na follow-up na tinatawag. Kasi learning is mas nagiging relevant pagka merong follow-up. So those are the role of the parent and as well as the teacher. Okay, so parent-teacher engagement roles, meron tayo ditong parent-teacher engagement roles. So connect, so i-summarize ko na lang to, more on that. So share your classroom goals. I-share mo dun sa parents mo, ito ang goals ko. Gusto ko at the end of this quarter, ang mga estudyante ay matuto ng, in particular, in multiplication, in mathematics. Connect with parents in person as much as possible. Use email, text, or apps. Di ba? Gumagamit na tayo ng email, text, and app. Kayo ba, naka-complete na ba kayo ng mga nawawalang estudyante nyo as well as parents doon sa GC? Di ba kailangan we need to connect to them. Give parents your contact information and get to know them early in the school year. Very important to, the power of getting the contact information of the parent. Kasi especially, di ba, during noong face-to-face tayo, pag ang isang estudyante natin ay may sakit, mas madali natin makokontak si parent. Di ba? So the problem can be answered or can be worked out easily. Address common challenges that inhibit parent engagement like scheduling conflicts or intimidating atmosphere. Diba? You are scheduling conflicts. O halika pag-usapan natin, ma'am, sir, pag-usapan natin yung class standing ng anak nyo about his study habits. Diba mas madali nating na sasabi sa mga parents o na i-share kung how their learners behave inside the classroom. Then because of that, mapagsasabihan yung estudyante at mas matututo at mag-a-adjust ang estudyante. Siyempre si teacher, hindi nawawala ang adjustment. Laging may adjustment period si teacher. That's why there are a lot of seminars na kung saan more the topic is particular in pedagogy. So when we say pedagogy kasi, more on techniques and approaches. Yan yung ina-apply. Provide opportunities for parents to connect with the school. Volunteerships, class activities, or parent-teacher community are all great engagement opportunities. Okay, so more on that. So engagement is very important when it comes to parent and teacher, not only during these pandemic times, but it is strengthened during these pandemic times because of the pandemic, and F2F is not possible. Now I have here some situations, and I want to see some of your answers here in our comment section in YouTube. Okay, so Laila's parents are both illiterate because of poverty. How education continues to Laila if both of her parents are non-readers? What solution would be best fit for Laila in order to still learn even there is no face-to-face learning? Okay, siyempre I know naman that some of you are already parent na, some of you are teachers din. So anong iisipin natin? What would be the best solution para dito kay Laila? Because of the parents of Laila, they are both illiterate. And because of that, siyempre illiterate nga ito, even though may module ka, diba, hindi matututo yung bata. So what is the best thing para matuto si Laila during this pandemic times na meron tayo? So I am waiting some of your answers here to be flashed here. What solution would be best fit for Laila in order to still learn even there is no face-to-face learning? Okay, I am waiting for the answers of some. Okay, okay, so according to Reynold Mosquera, how can we ensure parents' engagement and involvement in, for instance, they are illiterate or having no confidence to teach their own children? Okay, so this is related to our situations that we have here. So we can ensure parents' engagement and involvement. Actually, although we are doing everything, we are doing the last man, diba? Or we are running even the longest line para sa, pero it is more on being commitment. Although hindi tayo natatapos sa message, pinupuntahan natin si estudyante natin, si parent natin, pero parents sometimes they are not that supportive. So it is more on being committed. So and we as a teacher, we need to persuade the teacher to be the parents of those learners para maging committed sila sa learning ng kanilang estudyante. I-explain natin how education is very important. Okay, so let us wait for the answers. Okay, so according to Ma'am Bernadette Buenaventura, home visitation, if the situation permits, Thank you, Ma'am Bernadette Buenaventura. That is a very good thing or bright idea, home visitation, if the situation permits. Oh, very well said. According to Ma'am Buenaventura, if the situation permits. Okay. So, ibig sabihin, very good thing kasi yung presence natin eh. Kasi there are things, for example, even though na na-text natin or na-reach natin sila even in calls, iba pa rin yung expressions eh. Iba pa rin yung facial expressions natin, hindi nila, iba pa rin yung binibigay nun eh. Bibigay kasi ng emphasis yun. Diba? Another one, according to Ma'am Norilyn Rubaya, as assistance from the LGU support, very well said din po. So thank you for your answer, Ma'am Norilyn Rubaya. So LGU support, local government units. Itong LGU po natin ngayon or local government unit, yung mga stakeholders natin, they are doing a lot of things right now. Siyempre, sila yung punong abala rin sa pagdi-deliver ng ating mga modules. Siyempre, sa pamamagitan nila, madi-deliver natin yung nais natin iparating sa mga parents. And according to Ma'am Rose, have session with the parents. Okay, thank you, Ma'am Rose. So having sessions with the parents, siguro, pasok dito itong magkaroon kayo ng Google Meet siguro ni parents o kaya kung wala naman silang gadgets or internet sa bahay, siguro tawagan mo si parents. Siguro naman, even the poorest of the poor naman ngayon, meron namang cellphone. Okay? So another situations that I have here, thank you po sa mga sumagot. Okay, another situation that I have here, Badong's parents have permanent jobs that take almost of their time. They are busy with their works. How education is still continues if there will be no parents to delegate the lessons during these pandemic times. Okay, so ito naman. So credit tayo kay Badong dito. Parents have permanent jobs that take almost of their time. They are busy with their works. How education is still continues if there will be no parent to delegate. Now, I am waiting again for your answer. The participants. Okay, another answer from Sir Romel Makatsyag. Leila would best fit for modular learning. The teacher will do the follow-up and monitoring call the attention of parents to encourage the child. Oh, thank you for your answer, sir. The modular learning is best fit also. According to Ma'am Norsala Abdullah, okay. So what about here in the situation? About the situation of the parents of Badong because his parents have permanent jobs and they could not support the study of Badong because nga lagi silang busy. Paano pa matuturuan? According to Ma'am Norsala Abdullah, parents' role in the new normal will be the in charge. Okay, tama po siya. Diba? Nagiging in charge siya. Pero we have here with the support of the teacher. Diba? Kaya nga meron po tayo, ibigay natin yung contacts natin, yung social media natin. According to Sir Romeo Labaya, okay, Romeo Labaya, I think Laila can still learn if she really wants to, even if both her parents are illiterate. Okay po, pwede rin po natin ipasok dito siguro yung RBI o yung radio-based instruction since modular learning ay hindi po ma-assist ang bata kasi nga illiterate mga parents nitong si Laila. Diba po? So pwede rin siguro yung RBI. Another po dito sa situation, parents should have manage their time in order to ensure that Badong's education is not taken for granted according to Ma'am Eden Moraleja Rosenda. Thank you po for your answer. So very good po yan. So dapat yung commitment ng ating parents. So yung time management lagi po natin ipasok. Hindi naman pwede po nating sabihin busy ako. Pag uwi mo sa bahay, for example, you went home 5 p.m. nasa bahay ka na, pagod ka na. Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin yun. Another one, DepED trained learning facilitation assigned to each barangay according to Ma'am Bernadette Buenaventura. Very good po. So meron po tayong mga assigned barangay na kung saan magpapacilitate ng learning, na kung saan they will serve as the medium na makakapag-deliver ng kung ano yung ipaparating ng DepED doon sa mga parents niya. Vanessa Espihon, Ma'am Vanessa Espihon, as a parent working at home right now, I manage my time and schedule the learning session with my children. Thank you po for your answer, Ma'am Vanessa. This one is I congratulate you for this one. Kasi because some of the parents, they cannot handle study time for their children. Kaya nga nagkakaroon tayo ng mga learners na kung saan they do not have assignment. So thank you, Ma'am Vanessa Espihon. Another answer, according to Sir Rodolfo Reyes, DepED, they will hire teacher to serve as teacher as a learning facilitator for the learners who have no parents, guardians, and other adults to guide them in their distance learning. Oo nga po, Sir Rodolfo Reyes. Meron nga po parang they are going to hire private teachers, if I'm not mistaken, kasi last time I have seen it on television na they will hire private teachers kasi nga siyempre ngayon hindi ngayon nagbo-boom ang private schools. That's why si DepED gumawa rin ng way in order for them to have work, to still have work and to still practice teaching. Video recorded instruction could be sent to both Laila and Banong. Okay. So according to Sir Reynold Mosquera, sabi daw yung both recorded instructions using a radio-based instruction tayo or RBI can be applicable to Laila and Badong. Okay, so according to Ma'am Janicel Balagtas, time management is important. Very important nga po. Kaya nga po may quote tayo na gasgas na time is gold pag tinanong. Di ba po? Mary Grace Cruz. Okay, time management of parents is very important to ensure the learning of the child. Ma'am Mary Grace from Cardona, if I'm not mistaken, you are Ma'am Mary Grace Cruz. Congratulations to your to your thesis. Okay, another one. We are going now to another one. Shout out nga pala sa school ko, Mariano Season 1 Elementary School, and siyempre spearheaded by Sir Manolito B. Flores, my beloved principal, and the supervisor, Mr. Genaro Sequeña. And the DepEd Rizal, especially yung mga mentors ko dyan, sina Ma'am Cham, tas yung mga friends ko. Siyempre, to Ricardo, may mentor in research. Another one, we have here in the school somewhere in Rizal, the most numbers of parents agreed on online learning, but in contradicts with the results of their challenges that would affect learning, which are the lack of gadgets and unstable internet. How education is still be continued. Okay, so in this one, I'm going to, an answer, I have received here an answer coming from Ma'am Jicamia Sol. Hi, Ma'am Sol, my mentor in science. Actually, when I first hired in this in a particular school in Rizal, actually in Mariano Elementary School, ang dami binigay sa akin na chart ni Ma'am Sol. Thank you po dyan. According to her, seek help from relative. Very good po. Kasi although naman sobrang busy si parents nga, mayroon ka pa namang relative, di ba? Na kung saan makakapag-support ng education ni Badong as well as Laila. Another one, volunteer college students yung binanggit ni Ma'am Sol. Again, tama nga po, nagkakaroon tayo ng volunteer. Kasi di ba po yung ating tinatawag na meron tayong mga, as part of the K-12, meron tayong senior high school. And senior high school, sila yung nagkakaroon sila ng experience. Dapat magkaroon sila ng experience. According to D. Saper Sikhar, in need of teacher-parent good rapport for the children's future. Okay, very good po. Actually po, pag nagpapamiting ako as Sir Saper Sikhar, thank you very much po. So, nagpapamiting ka. Siyempre, yung pinaka-first orientation mo, dapat yung rapport building agad po siya. Tapos, I do not forget to get their contact number. Very important po pag kinuha natin yung contact number. So, according to Charito Bergantinos, conduct home visitation to monitor the progress of the learners. Yes nga po, very good po. Always tamang-tama po talaga pagka po mayroon tayong tinatawag na home visitation. Pero if the time permits now, kasi po meron tayo ngayong MECQ, diba? So, pwede po yan. Very effective yan. A lot of research na nabasa ko, napaka-effective ditong home visitation po. Shout out nga pala sa mga best ko dyan, mga best friend ko, si Jonaline, Donna, Magdalene, siyempre, Ma'am Cham, Joanne, Ma'am Karen, siyempre si Marie, Ma'am Jinky, hello. Okay, so those are some of the answers. According to Ma'am Bernadette Buenaventura, they can avail other modality like printed modules if they can cope with the online learning. Thank you po Ma'am Bernadette Buenaventura. So tama nga po. That's why po doon sa isang result natin, lumabas po talaga. Alam niyo po, nakakatuwa kasi based on some of the LCP na nabasa ko doon sa internet while I am searching, lumabas most of the parents, they choose online learning. Pero based on the challenges, wala naman pala silang internet support. Wala naman, they also have unstable internet. So kaya nga po, as best fit, lumabas pa rin si modular learning. According to Ma'am Rosie Encinas, yun pong BRB4 ay project sa barangay na mayroong pong volunteer parents na magkakandak ng remedial class na may tutukuyan ay pagbasa ng batang di makabasa. Okay po. So sulong Blue Rizal po tayo. BRB4, this is actually an initiation by SDS Ma'am Che na kung saan meron tong balang araw wala ng batang hindi marunong magbasa sa Rizal. So ang ganda po ng program na ito. Ito po ay mag-i-start na this coming September if I am not mistaken. Okay, so before I go, I have here a quote which is familiar and which is applicable to our current situations. So I hope everyone po ay nakinig at hope may na-impart po ako sa inyo, even a little. Educational responses to the crisis are capable of changing the meanings, purposes, and values of school. According to Kate Holmes, UNESCO Futures of Education Ideas Lab. So according to that, education daw po must not be stagnant. Education must not stop. Because society is changing and as well as education must also be changing. Kasi pag naiwan tayo doon sa old natin, hindi tayo makakasabay sa kung anong meron tayo. Hindi tayo magiging globally competitive. Okay, dito po sa speaker ko dito sa CPT, si Ma'am Aliana Ponce. Hi Ma'am, lapit na yung atin pong talk. Ma'am Bernadette Benaventura, thank you sir. Thank you rin po. So I hope everyone po, I hope I have imparted even a little po. So thank you very much po sa inyong lahat. Again, my name is Paulo Martin Aquino. Thank you very much po. So I'm going to answer siguro mga 3 questions lang po if ever. Thank you very much din po Ma'am Catherine May Kiampang. Mary Ann Aspecto Maniebo, thank you rin po. Ma'am Rose, thank you. Okay po, parang they do not have question. Okay, so according to Sir Romel Makatsyag, thank you po Sir Romel Makatsyag for your inputs. Very irrelevant po yung inyong mga inputs. In the first place, natatakpan. Why the parents agreed to go online learning for their children if they cannot provide the gadgets for their children to use? Maybe they should be oriented and enlightened first. Okay, oo nga po, sir. Kasi some of their answers based on doon sa nakita ko, nagkakaroon ng discrepancy kasi pinili online learning pero sa challenges, ang sinagot nila unstable internet at they do not have gadgets. So parang talagang discrepancy, talagang they do not support the answer. Okay, so Ma'am Siren Cruz, congrats po. Congratulations. Ma'am Siren Cruz, thank you po. Okay, may mga tanong. I'm waiting for some of the questions po. Ma'am Virginia Tagyamon, thank you very much po. Roldan Kilak, thanks din po. Arlene Mangaba, Rosa Lucernas, thank you rin po. At siyempre, lalong-lalo na sa family ko siyempre. Siyempre, ba't yan na to? Siyempre, yung mama ko, papa ko. Ma'am Discutido, may co-teacher. Thank you rin po, Ma'am Discutido. Nasa isla po ba kayo? Mabilis po ba ang internet dyan? Kay Ma'am Josephine Galatyaw, inform the teacher about the situation so the teachers can make an action to address the problem. Very well said po, Ma'am. Romana Junicio, hi Ma'am. Congrats din po. Okay po, thank you Ma'am.
Okay.
Si Ma'am Romana. Yes po,
Sir
Ma'am.
Paulo, thank you so much. And because of that, we really want to give you the certificate of recognition for sharing your expertise, this new normal. So allow me to read the citation. This certificate of recognition is proudly awarded to Paulo Martin M. Aquino for sharing her for sharing his expertise on the topic entitled The Role of Parent and Teacher in Education as Tandem This New Normal, as part of this webinar series entitled Teaching in the New Normal Series 2, conducted by the 21st Century Teachers, given the 7th day of August 2020, signed Atina C. Sinisa, CEO, 21st Century Teachers Education Incorporated. Thank you so much, Sir Paulo.
Thank you so much then for inviting me, ma'am.
Yes, and for you to get your e-certificate of participation, kindly click and sign in this assessment link.
Wala kayo, ma'am.
Once again, thank you so much, Sir Paulo.
Thank you so much po.
And thank you to all our participants. See you on Friday.
Thank you po. Hello po kay Ma'am Luwenya pala. Ma'am Luwenya si Kenya.